Welcome along to your deep dive. We're looking at a really tasty Champions League quarterfinal first leg, Paris Saint-Germain versus Aston Villa. Here at Tips Moto, we've crunched the numbers, looked at the form.
And yeah, we've dug into all the previews and team news for this one. It's shaping up to be fascinating, isn't it?
Absolutely. Our mission today, really, is to unpack the key factors. What's going to decide this first leg as these two fight for a semifinal spot?
Right. You've got PSG chasing that elusive European crown against Villa, who were kind of the surprise package this season. We at Tips Moto are definitely excited for this.
Okay, so let's kick off with PSG. Talk to me about their form. What's the picture our Tips Moto analysis paints?
Well, look, the big thing is their consistency. I mean, just one defeat in their last 29 matches, that's pretty formidable across all competitions.
There really is. And wrapping up the league title so early, with 6 games to spare.
Exactly. It just means they can pour everything into this. The Coupe de France final, they're chasing that domestic double too.
And their Champions League journey this year, we at Tips Moto looked closely at that Liverpool tie. Losing the first leg, then the shootout win at Anfield.
Yeah, that tells you a lot, I think. It suggests, real resilience, maybe shaking off some of those past Champions League ghosts.
Because they have had those disappointments, haven't they? The 2020 final, last year's semi.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And interestingly, we flagged at Tips Moto that they've got the youngest average starting 11 left. That youth could be a double-edged sword, maybe fearless, maybe a bit naive.
Could be. That hunger for a first title must be huge, though.
Immense. Okay, let's switch over to Aston Villa. Quite the story for them this season.
Oh, absolutely. Back in the big time after, 40 years? And they haven't just shown up. We at Tips Moto were really impressed by that group stage.
Especially that win against Bayern Munich. That really made people sit up and take notice, didn't it?
It certainly did. And they handled Club Brugge pretty comfortably in the last round.
Yeah, a solid aggregate win there. It shows they can manage these two-legged affairs. Plus, their Premier League form is picked up, and they've got that FA Cup semi-final.
So momentum seems to be with them. And we know Unai Emery, their manager, is pushing hard for this competition. He's been clear it's a top priority.
Yeah, and you can understand why, given Villa's European history, even if it was a while ago. Now, we did note at Tips Moto, their away record in France isn't amazing historically. Lille, Monaco.
Right, some tricky trips there. But Villa often seem to, embrace being the underdog.
That's Emery's playbook sometimes, isn't it? He thrives on structuring a team to frustrate bigger names. And speaking of Emery...
Ah, yes, the big subplot, his return to the Parc des Princes.
Exactly. Managed PSG, won trophies there between 2016 and 2018. Now he's back in the opposing dugout.
And you can't forget his difficult Champions League night there. Well, not there, but with PSG against Barcelona at Camp Nou back in 2017. That comeback.
Oof. Yeah. That must still sting. So we at Tips Moto kind of see this as Emery aiming for, let's say, a statement win against his old employers. An underdog success.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, let's get into the team news. What are we hearing about PSG from the Tips Moto perspective?
Well, good news for them. Donnaruma's fitting goal. The only definite absentee seems to be Lee Kang-in. But the big one...
Marquinhos.
Yeah, Captain Marquinhos is suspended, accumulated bookings. That's a blow for them defensively.
A big one. So we're thinking, based on our Tips Moto analysis, it'll likely be Beraldo, the new signing, alongside William Pacho in central defense.
That looks the most likely pairing, yeah. Maybe not the most experienced partnership at this elite level.
True, but the positive for PSG is they rested quite a few key players at the weekend. We expect Mendes, João Neves, Barcola, Dembele all back in.
And Dembele. Wow. His Champions League form this season, flagged by us at Tips Moto, is just electric. 7 goals in 6 games. That's incredible compared to his previous tallies.
He's a massive threat. So if we were to hazard a guess at a possible PSG lineup, based on our Tips Moto insights.
Okay, maybe something like Donnarumma, Hakimi, Beraldo, Pacho, Mendes, then Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz in midfield, and up top, maybe Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Barcola.
Interesting. Right, let's flip to Villa. What's the team situation looking like there, according to Tips Moto?
Well, the really intriguing one is Marco Asensio, on loan from PSG, ironically, and he's been on fire.
Yeah, our team at Tips Moto highlighted that 8 goals in his last 11 games, some off the bench too. He's finding form.
He really is. And with Ollie Watkins maybe not being fully fed, or at least some uncertainty there.
Right. Could Asensio start? Maybe play just behind a lone striker?
That's a definite possibility we're considering at Tips Moto.
Yeah.
Gives him a different kind of threat. We also know there are slight doubts over Leon Bailey, maybe a knock, and Ross Barkley with his knee.
Okay, so potential issues there, but they do have other options who've chipped in recently.
Exactly. Daniel Mellon scored, Morgan Rogers too. So Emery does have alternatives in those attacking areas.
And midfield should look stronger. We at Tipsmodo expect McGinn and Kamara back in.
Yeah, that seems likely. That'll give them solidity and experience in the middle and defensively.
Our analysis at Tipsmodo suggests Ezri Konsa should return alongside Tyrone Mings, with Emi Martinez in goal. That's their preferred setup usually.
Okay, so putting it all together, a potential Villa key from our Tipsmodo viewpoint might be Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Digne, Kamara, Tielemans, then maybe McGinn, Asensio, and Rogers supporting perhaps Rashford up front.
Could be. So wrapping this section up, what's the overall Tipsmodo take on this first leg?
Look, from our analysis here at Tipsmodo, it just sets up beautifully, doesn't it? A really captivating opener.
Yeah, you've got PSG, who are, let's be honest, incredibly strong at home. Their record there is formidable.
It is, but you just can't write off Villa, not under Emery.
Right.
We know here at Tipsmodo they are more than capable of pulling off a big result, causing an upset. They seem built for these kinds of nights.
It really promises to be a fascinating tactical battle as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
Two very smart managers, two teams with distinct styles but clear ambitions.
Well, we at Tipsmodo certainly hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights ahead of Paris Saint-Germain versus Aston Villa. It's got all the makings of a classic.
Definitely. And remember, for expert betting tips, more detailed analysis, and everything you need to enhance your experience, head over to www.tipsmodo.co.ke.
That's www.tipsmodo.techco.ke. We've got all the angles covered for you there. As always, please bet responsibly and just sit back and enjoy the spectacle.